Hey gorgeous, welcome to Sunshine and Rosie, your new favorite cozy nook where we're going to talk everything from spiritual growth, cultivating a positive mindset, to discussing all the juiciness that this world has to offer. Basically, I want to show you how incredibly fascinating you are as a human and give you all my nuggets so that you can confidently embody your most chaotically beautiful self. So no matter what shitstorm the world is throwing at you, know that I'll always be that little sunshine in your pocket. God, that's so cheesy. Right, let's go. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. This is a continuation, part 2 of my personal update and insight into how my fucking life is at the moment. So last week we talked about just receiving help and being okay with receiving help and changing the energy that I have taken into receiving help and surrendering and just allowing it to be what it is. Sorry, I just want to tone down that a little. This is also on video if you wanna see me. But yeah. So this week I just want to continue on about how I am current situation. So current situation, I'm at a friend's house. I've got 6 days to find an apartment. My friend is currently traveling, so she has graciously gifted me her whole fucking gorgeous apartment to call my own for the next couple of days. And I have 6 days to hopefully find an apartment, sign a lease, and move into it before I travel home on the 14th of this month. Because fingers crossed, I do not want to have to fly home on the 14th of this month and not have an apartment in this country when I come back, because then that means I have to come back on the first, and it's just going to be a fucking headache. we're not worried about that because it's not going to happen. So stress. The last 2 weeks have been fucking stressful. I don't know if I'm coming or am I going. I'm also 2.5 weeks out from this year's photo shoot. So I'm coming to the end of photo shoot prep, which means low energy, diet brain, watching my food, and just added stress to my body. So my poor little body is dealing with a lot of stress at the moment, okay? And again, I'm just very proud of how I'm dealing with all of this, because an old version of me, this is the benefits and the beauty of the work that I do and the shit that lights me the fuck up, and why I want more people to understand this. Because an old part of me would have gone into situations like this, and I have gone into situations like this, and I would have just allowed the not fight or flight, but like just freezing, like freezing and numbing and just not being able to do anything, because all I can think of is how fucking pathetic I am that I can't like sort an apartment, and that I can't just like have everything sorted and settled, and like I can't just support myself, and all these old beliefs coming up that would have just tore down an older version of me. Maybe not even like torn her down, but like put her out for a couple of days, you know. But again, because of the work I do, I know how to deal with these situations, and I don't allow myself to fall. That's not to say I haven't fallen into many a spiral recently. I have. But the thing is, you're going to fall into spirals. Because here's the thing, when you fall back into old patterns, when you fall back into those spirals, I've done an episode on this before already, but when you do that, it is a clear sign that you are about to up the level. Level the fuck up. You're about to level the fuck up, because often when you are calling in that new version of you, when you are calling in a new part of you, an old version of you has to die. You have to make room for it. And so in those last little moments before you jump into that next level, before you lock into that new belief system or reach a new level of capacity in your nervous system, that old version of you is going to try its fucking hardest to pull you back down, because it doesn't believe, it thinks where you're going is a threat. It doesn't feel safe, because all it sees is the fear, and so it tries to pull you back down, and it tries to fill you with all those limiting beliefs that have held you back, and it tries to bring in all those old bad habits that you used to have that you didn't like, and trying to bring you back to this safety. And so that's why we end up spiraling, and we catch ourselves after like doing all this work and you're doing great, and then all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why am I back here? How am I going backwards? Like, I thought I was doing great. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. this is actually a really good thing. Because it's that last little pull. Um, and when you can recognize this and when you become aware of your patterns, you're able to catch yourself quicker in these spirals. When you fall back into these patterns, um, you might not notice the first day or the second day, or maybe a fucking week goes by, okay? But eventually you notice and you're like, oh my God, no, 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 this is an old version of me that I don't want to be anymore. What happened here? And you pull yourself out and you start back up on where you were at, and you haven't fallen behind, you haven't lost track, you haven't done anything wrong. You're doing the right thing because you're able to be like, I actually don't want those habits and those routines and that belief system in me anymore. So goodbye. And it's usually on that last one where you see it go, and you move in onto that, you up level to that next level version of yourself. So, did that make sense? Sometimes I think that like I'm the only one who understands this language, but I'm not, because I'm surrounded by people that understand this language. So I know that I could feel myself in this whole stress bucket of not knowing if I was going to move in time, not knowing if I was going to have an apartment, running around the place and looking at all these potential apartments to just have them fall through or just have them be fucking shocking apartments. um, it was stressful. And then actually having to like fucking pack up a whole apartment, all this, like my whole life, all my belongings, pack them up, and then clean an apartment, and then move here to this beautiful apartment that I have for the next couple of days. And it was stressful. And I could feel, and because of that, I was completely out of my routine. Because I was living outside the city. So I was living in Matosinhos, which is about a 30-minute metro to the city. So I was living near the beach. And so all my viewings were in the city. And so I would have to get a 30-minute metro into the city. And then if I had a couple of viewings that day, I had to like, hang around the city, work in the city, and then go back. And so in saying all that, like my routine was all over the place. I didn't have the pleasure of my morning routine every morning. I didn't have my even eating structure, which is so fucking crucial and important, especially in dieting phase. You just don't want to even fucking think about that. Like you just want it there in front of you. I couldn't do my meal preps or all of that because I was moving apartment, and there's no point having a fucking load of meals prepped if I have to carry them somewhere. So everything was just shaken. Okay. And my routine was off, my environment was switched around, I was doing all the shit that I didn't plan on doing, and I could feel it in my nervous system. I could feel it in my body. I could feel instantly my body went into my survival state, which is mostly my masculine energy. And it's something that I've been really working on this year. Is I spent most of my life in my masculine energy, which I learned, which I discovered kind of the end of last year. It makes so much sense. Because again, growing up, men were superior. Men were safer. It was safe. No, I didn't say men were safer. I meant to say it was safer to be a man, and that's what I saw growing up. I saw that you had more rights, not rights, but it was better if you were a man because you had more control, you had more say, people respected you more, and so I grew up mirroring qualities of a man. Did that make sense? Yeah, the qualities and characteristics and aspects of a man, as a form of protection. And I realized I've kept that energy. I was so in my masculine energy, and I'm doing a lot to soften into my feminine and become just a little bit more flowy. And I really leaned into that this year, and it's been fucking chef's kiss, fucking incredible. Highly recommended. And yeah, so I'm getting a lot more, I guess, comfortable and aware of when I feel myself going back up into that higher energy, and not being grounded. And so I was fully aware of that over the last couple of days. And I could feel the panic, and I could feel my breath started shortening. I was doing more shallow breathing than I was deep breathing, and my body was just going into this like little survival thing, and that was completely fine because that's what it needed to do. We were just in a let's not think about shit and let's just move and get these things done. But as soon as I came into the space, and as soon as I had the space to myself, um, I knew how this could play out. It could be one, me play out sitting here, panicking, stressing about where the fuck I'm going to move to. What am I going to do if I can't find a Why can't I find a house? I'm fucking pathetic. I'm blah, 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 all this shit. Going to pit of despair, and not get fuck all done. Um, or I can implement all the tools and strategies that I have in this beautiful fucking toolbox that I've created over the last couple of years, and not let this shit get to me. Because here's the thing. Again, over the last couple of years of building so much evidence and so much proof that shit works out, and that when you have the belief and when you have the trust and when you have the knowing, just don't think about the how and just be grateful for when it comes. And so when I saw the apartment that I'm waiting back to hear from, I saw it, and my name's Roisin. I don't know if you all know that. Well, you do. Rose. It means little rose in Irish. I've rose tattoo on my hand. Roses have always been significant to me. I drink rose in my herbal blends every morning. It was one of the herbs that literally really fucking helped with my ADHD and my anxiety and just calming myself first thing in the morning. A couple of years ago, it's what trickled this whole fucking journey for me. And so it's fucking very significant to me, and I love it. And so 2 weeks ago, or whenever I was looking at this apartment, I had two apartments, two viewings, both of them fucking fantastic. Both of them in separate locations, but two of the locations that I was like, if I'm moving to the city, I want to move to either this location or this area. And so it was either or. Two beautiful apartments. For the first time, it was like two gorgeous realtors. And I mean gorgeous is then like just really fucking nice realtors. So friendly, so communicative, so informative about the apartment, and just very nice energy. And so I went and I saw the first place, and he was such a sweetheart, and he was so cute. We were talking about meditation. He was like maybe in his late 40s, early 50s. And there was a little like area in the apartment, mezzanine kind of area. You couldn't stand in it fully, but like I had a mattress there, and I was like, oh, I could do my yoga and my meditation here. And he mentioned that he meditates, and he so cute. He was like, yeah, I get to the office every morning. Like, this is a man as well. You look at him, you're like, you wouldn't think he meditates. Okay, so it's even more adorable. But he's like, yeah, I'm always the first person in the office, so I try and give myself 15 minutes in the morning to meditate. And I'm just like, I can just picture, I just instantly pictured this little man in his office, like a glass door office, like, and he's just sitting there 15 minutes just waiting for everybody else to come in. I was just like, you're doing so much more than half the people on this earth. Well fucking done. So anyway, I had this beautiful connection. And this apartment was like brand new building, brand new kitchen, brand new everything, just beautiful. Minimalist, very clean aesthetic. Okay, fab. And then I went to see the other one. And the other one I knew by the pictures. I was like, it's a bit more me. It's like quirky. It's got like it's quirky. It's not not whitewash. What am I saying? It's not like, just everything's white and clean, and no, it's just quirky. It's got like cool wooden old antique furniture and just like shit. And that's me. If you know me, I am more the quirky side of things. And so I knew in my mind, I was like, fuck, this apartment was so nice. And I was like, but I have a feeling the other apartment's more me. Like, how do I do this? Because this was such a beautiful realtor. Like, I don't want to let him down. And so anyway, I'm walking to the other viewing. Okay, I've got about 45 minutes in between viewings. It's a shorter walk in between, and so I'm just like taking my time and I'm walking, and I throw on some random podcast. Okay, I throw on some random podcast. Okay, and it's this girl who's talking about, it's two girls, and they're talking about Rose, and they're talking about the like not only the holistic properties to rose and how beautiful it is as a fucking flower and all the medicinal properties that it has, but just all the like the history of the rose and how it's been used in so many different um spiritual and I don't know if I'm going to get the wording of this right, but like spiritual practices and different not religions, but like ancient traditions. I don't know. I might be getting those wordings wrong, but it has this whole beautiful history to it. Okay. It's so powerful. It's worshipped in certain areas. And they were just talking about the whole podcast was on the rose. God knows how I ended up on this podcast, right? But because I'm interested in the rose, I was like, oh, I'll listen to this. Like, the rose is what fucking opens my heart every morning. I love it. So anyway, I'm listening to this podcast. I'm walking towards the viewing. I'm in my head and I'm just like, oh God, both these are going to be amazing. I know both of them are going to be so good. Like, universe, please just fucking give me a sign to help me pick which one. Just make it easy for me because I don't want to disappoint. I don't want to. I just want to be able to like just make this simple for me, right? So it's raining. I've got my umbrella. I show up to the apartment like maybe 10 minutes early. I shoot a message. I'm like, here, I'm 10 minutes early. Let me know whenever you're there, blah, blah, blah. And as I'm standing outside my possible future apartment, I'm like, oh, give me a sign, like, and I look up and across the road is this painting on the wall and it's a woman lying in a bed of roses. And I just saw that and I was like, okay. And I started laughing, right? And then I'm leaning up against like just electrical pole, with my umbrella giggling away. And for some reason I decide to look at the back of the pole. Who stands by a pole and is like, oh, let's check this pole out. Anyway, I do. And I decide to look at the back of this pole, and halfway up the pole is this tiny little spray painted red rose. Okay? And I'm like, nah, you're kidding me. I'm listening to a podcast that is purely centered around rose. I see a woman lying in a bed of roses across the road, and now there's a little rose on the fucking pole outside this apartment. And so before I even see the apartment, I'm like, oh, this is it. So anyway, I go into the apartment again. Realtor is a fucking solid, so nice, beautiful man. He shows me the place. It hasn't been fully cleaned. He was like, look, the old tenants literally just moved out. It's getting cleaned on Monday. But you were like the first person to contact us. So we said we'd have you in beforehand. And I'm like, sweet. I can imagine this place clean. Trust me, I'm good. So I look around and I'm like, it's beautiful. It's quirky. It's got wacky, like odd furniture that like, I'm just like, yum, eat me, you know? It's got a beautiful bathroom. It's big open space. There's lots of potential, lots of rooms for activities. It's just fab. Okay. And so I'm walking away and I'm like, this is the one. So I go and I put in my offer, and both of them were out of my price range. So I'm like, I'm not paying the price that you're asking for, but I'm going to put in my offer, and we'll see what happens. But I knew nothing was going to happen in the time frame that I had to move out my other place. So I moved to my friend's house here. And it's still uncertain. I'm still the landlord because I don't have a guarantor here. So here in this country, they want you to have a guarantor. And if you don't, they can, which I think is criminal, but they can ask for up to 6 months rent in advance. So it's not a deposit. You pay 1 month's deposit, but it's 6 months in advance. So essentially I would be paying for my first month's rent and then my last 5 months rent. So I'm just paying for future rents. Okay. And they say it's protection because whatever, but I'm like, also like, is it though? Because you shouldn't need that much to protect the place, you know? Anyway, each their own. So I get a message back and she's looking for 6 months rent up front. And I'm like, I can't do that. And I straight up said it. I was like, I can't do that. It's just not possible for me. I can do 4. We'll call it that. But I can't do 6. And blah, blah, blah. And I'm getting these like practical answers back. And I was like, do you know what? I was like, but before we even go further with this, I want to go and see the apartment again, because I did kind of rush through the first thing and it wasn't fully cleaned. And I want to make sure that I go back and that it's fully cleaned and that it's up to the standards as a tenant looking at it. And so I was like, can we just arrange another viewing before we even go further with these agreements? So anyway, I went and I saw the apartment again yesterday. And the funny thing is, I already know this is my apartment, so I had to like join a new gym, obviously, since I moved here again. And so I just joined a gym that's close to that apartment because I'm like, I know I'm moving there. Could have been a risky move. Who gives a fuck? So anyway, I went and I looked at the apartment yesterday, and you remember those signs I told you about the apartment, the roses? I go and I look at the apartment, and it's been cleaned, and it's shining even more, and now it's daylight, so I can kind of see how the sun hits it and all of this. And in the sitting room on the coffee table is a little plate, a little bowl of roses, of dried roses. And if you don't know me, I work with herbal. I work with roses. I work with herbal blends. I had a whole herbal blend business that hopefully will be coming back soon. And that used to, like, I literally have bowls of dried flowers around the place, and it was like, it looks like I already live here. Like, it looks like I've already been here, and that's just one of my bowls of herbs lying around. And I saw it and I just started giggling. I was like, okay, I get it. I get it. So this whole process here, again, I'm seeing this all as a test. I'm getting challenged with being able to, again, go at these, what is the word I'm trying to look for? Back and forth with the landlord, but me coming from a place of, again, confidence and overflow, knowing that I'm not desperate for this apartment. Yes, maybe technically I am, but I have people to fall back on, and I have plan Bs and Cs and Ds. So I'm not that desperate for this apartment. And I know I'm a fucking incredible tenant. I am a A1 tenant. And so her getting me as a tenant is just as much luck as me getting the apartment. And so I know that. And so I'm going into the back and forth messages, with that confidence, with that knowing that, like, I'm not going to bow down and like beg for this apartment. Would I have done that before in the past? Possibly, because I didn't have much confidence in myself, and I was just trying to find security and just go with what I could, and settle, whatever, not put my needs first. But again, I have way more confidence in myself, and I know this apartment is for me. And if it's not, so be it. But I know I am worthy of like, I am a landlord's dream. And so I sent a message this morning to the realtor, and I was just like, look, I'm after getting 2 letters from my old landlords here, proof that I pay rent on time, proof that I'm a fucking unbelievable tenant. I'm not able to get a guarantor, therefore I'm not able to, I'm also not able to pay the 6 months up front. I will do 4. That is my final offer. If she doesn't want to take it, that's completely fine. I got a little bit sassy, but me and Pedro are friends. I was like, but apparently the reason is that her last tenants, yesterday when he was talking to me, apparently the reason was that her last tenants were a couple and they fucked off without paying. Okay. And so she's a bit of trust issues and she's a bit skeptical. All completely valid. But also, don't fucking paint us all with the same brush, firstly. And I said this in the message. And I said, secondly, between the two of us, Pedro, like, I have no idea why her last tenant left. Like, was she a bad landlord? Were their reasons for leaving valid? Who knows? Who fucking knows? So this is a 2-way contract. And therefore there needs to be equal amount of respect and trust between both her wanting a reliable and respectful tenant, but me also wanting a reliable and trustworthy landlord. And so I said, so even with 4 rents, even if, let's say, worst case scenario, I do end up fucking missing a payment and not showing up, or something happens, she still has 3 months rent in her back pocket and 3 months to find somebody else, which in today's market is a fucking no-brainer, easy peasy situation. And I said this in the message. And then I said, just because I offered to meet her, because I know when somebody meets me in person, they're going to be like, she's got that energy. I want her renting my house. Um, but she apparently won't meet because she met the last people and she thought they were lovely and they fucked her over. So I'm like, why did they fuck you over? Or did you fuck them over? You know? So anyway, I left a little bit of end message. I was like, look, but just to, in saying all that, like a little bit about me, because I know she is a woman. So I'm hoping, woman to woman. I was like, a little bit about me. I'm 31-year-old Irish single woman. Recently started my own business. Doing all this on my own. And not to say that from a place of pity, because I'm fucking so proud of the life that I'm building. But I don't have the privilege of a second income or a shared household or shared living expenses or just support. I don't have it. And I was just like, but I'm an incredible tenant. I'm a landlord's dream. And I say that with all seriousness because I know that, and tenants, landlords have told me that in the past. And so I just left it kind of that. I said that with all seriousness. And I would really love the opportunity to have your apartment, because I want to call the city my home, and I have so many plans and exciting things, and I want to make my mark on the community here. And then I just said, that's everything from my end. Let me know what she says, but can I get an answer by the end of the day? Because I do need to move on the 12th of this month, and I need to go forward with other offers that I have with other apartments. There's no other offers with any other apartments, but they don't know that. And so this is a test for me to actually be able to send a message with that confidence and not bow down or crumble, and come from a place of desperation. And the thing is, I'm completely okay with either she says yes or no, because if she says yes, fantastic. I have a beautiful apartment and I'm able to move into a fabulous apartment. If she says no, thank fucking God. Because I don't want an actual landlord like that. If they're going to say no to that message that I sent that was so respectful and so understanding, and all of that, if she has an issue with that, then that means she's just a money hungry landlord. And I'd rather not. I'd rather her rent to some fuckers that are just going to continuously fuck her over. So let's hope that's not the case, and let's hope she's a beautiful Portuguese woman that just sees my potential as a tenant. But in saying all that, the last couple of days have been fucking stressful. And I have decided I have all these incredible tools in my bank for when I feel that stress. And number one is my morning routine, my morning ritual. I don't give a fuck. My morning ritual, when I can get up and I can give the first 45 minutes of my day to my morning ritual, it changes my whole day. It changes my outcome. It changes my energy. And you might think, oh my God, that's crazy. That's such a long morning routine. That's good. I'm a single woman with no independence, no dependence, no kids, no partner, nobody else fucking drag it off me. So I also create my schedule. So if I wake up early and I can give the first hour of my day to myself, that's on me. I'm not saying you need to do that. But I also have ADHD, and I wake up first thing in the morning, and the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is my mind goes, go, 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 do, hurry, hurry, hurry. And it goes straight into like overdrive instantly. And I used to just assume that was normal, and I used to allow that to fuck my day up. And because the majority of those thoughts were worries and doubts and me putting myself down, it was a fucking awful time. But now I know, I wake up and that's my instance, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's happening. So let's do all the things to turn this volume down for a second, and let's just fucking check in. And so I have my herbal teas. I have my herbal blends that literally help they help me breathe, they help me quiet my anxious mind, they help me ground myself. They instantly just fucking change my day. I have my herbal tea, I have my grounding meditation. Again, 5-10 minutes. Doesn't have to be anything drastic. I try and do some journaling. Again, 5-10 minutes. Maybe it could be half an hour. It depends. But I always aim for 5 minutes. I write down just kind of how I'm feeling, checking on my body, figuring out what I need today. Like just waiting to see what an answer pops up, and trying to honor that. And then I go for my little walk. and I go for my walk and I put in my headphones firstly and I listen to my embodiment activation, which I've said it before, it's me literally programming in my higher self energy. And so for the first half of my walk, I'm walking through the city or wherever I am, and I am fucking hyping myself up. I am creating and reminding myself of the version that I'm working towards. And I hold her energy and I take on her energy, and then I'm like, fuck, that's me for the day. And then for the second half of my walk, I'm waking up my senses. I'm taking out my headphones. I'm listening to the fucking world around me. I'm looking at stuff. I'm trying to see as far as I can so I can strengthen my eyes, and get them seeing far into the distance. So, long distance training or whatever it's called. Distance gazing. And then I tap into what I can hear, tap into what I can see. I say good morning to people as I pass. I smile at people. I get smiles back. I just bask in just taking in my surroundings, coming into the present moment. Again, these little tiny things that can be done at any time can change the fucking way your day goes. Because it's me being in the present moment and not letting the anxious mind or the rest of the day take over when there's no need for it. And then I come back and I'm fucking refreshed. I know what I'm doing. I'm in high fucking energy. And I have reminded myself that today, when those thoughts come up, those fears, those insecurities, those limiting beliefs, those voices that say you're a burden, or that you panic or you need to stress or blah blah blah, when I hear those voices come in, I now know that's an old fat version of me. I don't want to hear that anymore. I hear it, I acknowledge it, I'm aware of it, but it's not affecting me. And when I don't do my practices, that build up of not having that time to check in with myself, those little limiting beliefs and those worries, and they get louder and they show up a little bit more often, and it's kind of hard to ignore them when there's too much of a gap between my practices. Does that make sense? And so I've just been doing my morning. I'm really committing to my morning rituals and spending those first 45 minutes to myself and just really fucking coming into this high energy. And I've been so fucking happy this week. My energy has been through the roof, which I don't really fully understand because my calories are low and I shouldn't really have this much energy, but it's because I fucking know. I just have a knowing. I know everything's going to work out. I'm confident in who I am and how I'm showing up. And I love these fucking moments to test myself and to see how far I have come, because in this whole scenario, this whole thing that's playing out right now, and you might think, oh, it's not much of a big deal, or blah, 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 blah. Who cares? We all deal with stress, different things. There's different things that are going to stress us out. It doesn't really matter about the thing. It's how you deal with it yourself, how you can bring your body back to a safe feeling. But what I love most about this is I can see this situation that I'm in now, and I can see an old version of me, multiple old versions of me, that would have handled this situation so fucking badly. And just out of pure fear and scared, and their nervous system just going into dysregulation, and them not understanding how to regulate it, and not understanding that it doesn't have to feel like that they can bring it down to a safe level. And so when I'm sitting here and I'm basking in this moment of this bubble of stress, I'm like, wow, I'm so fucking proud that I have these tools and that I'm able to bring myself back to this calm state, to be able to, no matter if the fucking apartment comes through or if it doesn't come through, who cares? I'm alive. I'm safe. I'm so grateful that I have a roof over my fucking head and people to lean on, and a beautiful city to walk around and explore. Privilege. Absolute privilege. And so when I can't control the shit that I can't control, I focus on the shit that I can't control, which is my mood and how I feel in my body. And a huge thing, what I've noticed as well over the last week, is my nervous system and that panic of we're gonna fucking die. Like stressing out and being chased by a tiger, and really having that awareness of when that comes up, and when all of a sudden I notice it. I start breathing shallower. I get this tightness on my chest. Everything just gets a little shorter and more panicky. And it's just my body been like, oh, we're not safe. And all I have to do is sit here, take a couple of deep breaths, put my hand on my heart, feel into where the stress is, and remind myself I'm safe. I'm so safe. And I completely trust that no matter what happens, I've got me. And that feeling is one of the best feelings you'll ever have in the world. Hands down. But yeah, my mic died, so I don't even know if the last bit of this recorded or if it's good quality. But in saying that, I don't even know if the first half of this recorded. I don't know. Who knows? In saying all that, yeah, I'm just very glad. I'm proud of how I've dealt with the last week, the stress, and being able to just stay in this beautiful energy and just still being able to find the joy and the excitement in the everyday. And you can too. This is all free. This is at your fingertips. You have every bit of ability to create joy, to find a joy. Find the shit that lights you up. Stop fucking waiting. Stop waiting for the events or the special occasions before you're allowed to have fun. Find the joy right now. I don't give a shit what age you are. Find what lights you the fuck up and start bringing that joy into your life every day in small, tiny ways. That alone will change your whole fucking life. That alone, is just... it's magic. But yeah, that's it anyway. I'm going to end this episode because my legs are dead. Hopefully by the time you're listening to this, I'm in my new apartment. I will be home in Ireland by the time you're listening to this. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm already in my apartment. It's fucking beautiful. I'll give you a little tour maybe the next week. Oh no, I'll be in Ireland. The week after, I'll give you a tour. But yeah, this is what happens when you trust. Oh, thanks so much for taking the time to dive into my brain with me. If any of this resonated with you, I would love to hear your thoughts. DM me, share it with a friend, like, subscribe, leave a review. Do all those juicy little things that help me reach more beautiful souls. And remember, you are chaotically beautiful, and that's all you ever need to be. I love you, I'm proud of you, and until next time, keep shining and stay rosy.